For me, I think the biggest thing that football taught me was how to overcome adversity.
At some point in your life, you're going to have some tough times.
You have to have that next play mentality.
That cohesiveness and that working together, that's really something special that you can't get in a lot of other areas.
When you practice that and you live that in other phases of your life, it becomes second nature because all you know how to do is fight.
It's not an easy game. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
You start to appreciate the smaller contributions that people make. You don't just look at the big one because you knew it took 6 or 7 other guys who are unsung.
And you know, you can't take shortcuts and be successful.
Doing what they do to make it possible for the guy getting the press clippings or whatever it might be.
In this game, whether it's as a coach or a player.
So I would certainly say that you know, you definitely got a very quick lesson in how to overcome adversity playing football.
And don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find this available in both paperback and PDF form on our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Peyton Manning can still play at a high level, but entering his 18th season in the NFL, the approach, I believe, has to be different. Mentally, he's still in his prime, so you know he knows where to go with the football, but physically, it takes a toll on you at this age with that many pass attempts. So in my opinion, if Denver goes back to what Peyton did in his early days in Indy, where he operated off play action, it'll ultimately get Denver to where they want to be. Rely more on the ground game, and Manning could probably play for another 3 to 4 years. Brock Osweiler looks to have made strides in his game to where the staff will feel comfortable with him at the helm if need be. Now, Zach Dyson and Trevor Siemian will battle it out for number 3. The Broncos have a wealth of riches in the backfield, in my opinion. Some really good talent here. Now, depending on whether or not they keep 4 or 5 backs is the question. C.J. Anderson, Monty Ball, Ronnie Hillman, Capri Bibbs, and Jawan Thompson are all solid backs that can really help get this team back to a Super Bowl. Now, whether it's a bell cow or by committee, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who starts. What matters the most is that the Broncos' commitment to the ground game is back, and I think you'll see more of that this season. Gone are Wes Welker and Julius Thomas, but both Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders are more than capable of getting the job done as a duo. Last year, both receivers combined for over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 212 receptions. The real battle will be for the number 3 spot, and second-year man Cody Latimer, in my opinion, has the leg up over Andre Caldwell. Some good young developmental options as well with Nathan Palmer, Jordan Norwood, and Isaiah Burst. Keep an eye on undrafted free agent Jordan Taylor out of Rice, a 6'5", 215-pound wideout, will compete with the aforementioned guys for the 4th and 5th receiver slots, but could end up on a practice squad. At tight end, the club will ask 5th-year vet Virgil Green to step up and take over for Julius Thomas. Just as insurance, the club also signed Owen Daniels, who's very familiar with Gary Kubiak in his offense, so he'll see a ton of time as the Broncos will utilize a lot of double tight end sets. I like the James Casey signing as well. He can play the fullback H-back role. It was an underrated signing, as this is an ideal fit for him. The Broncos are starting 2015 behind the 8 ball by losing Ryan Clady for the season. Now that puts the spotlight on rookie second-round pick Ty Sombrero out of Colorado State at the left tackle spot. Now Sombrero is capable, and he'll have to succeed pretty quickly, or veteran Chris Clark will get the nod. It looks as if fellow rookie Max Garcia will get the start at left guard. It could be an interesting battle because I think both Ben Garland and undrafted free agent Dylan Day out of Mississippi State are really good options. The right side is a little bit more stable with right guard Luis Vasquez and right tackle Ryan Harris, and there's also good depth with Michael Schofield and Shelley Smith. Center Matt Paradis will have to hold off Gino Gradkowski. In my opinion, Gino Gradkowski should get the nod based off familiarity with the scheme at the most important position up front.
I love football. I cannot get enough of football. I watch it on every level.
The emotional release. You know, whether it's an exciting play that gets you all jacked up and juiced, or whether it's the fact that you're able to pour everything you have. Whatever frustration you had that week, you can put into that first kickoff coverage, that first block that you have, whatever it might be.
And I couldn't think of anything better to do to fill that void that you have as a football player than to get into coaching.
You get a chance to release a lot of emotion that you otherwise have no place to release. There's nothing else like that.
Again, the relationships you build and the people you're around, and watching the guys compete not just on the football field, but in life after they get done playing. It's just an amazing game.
Slight question mark up front for the Broncos as they move to a 3-4. Now, outside of Malik Jackson, who was very good last year, I do believe his best football is ahead of him. Derek Wolfe may be better as a 5-tech, but he'll be suspended for the first 4 games of the season, which means veteran Vance Walker or Antonio Smith is likely to start in his place. Now, Wolfe's loss weakens the depth a bit at defensive end. At nose tackle, Denver will go with Sylvester Williams. He's quick off the ball and could have a really good season in that role. He's a lighter nose tackle with pocket collapsing capability. Rookie Darius Kilgo out of Maryland is of the same pedigree, and in my opinion, he landed in an ideal spot and should provide quality depth at the nose. Good linebacking core here with both Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. The pass rushing duo combined for 24 sacks last season, and the Broncos got better in the offseason here as well with the selection of Shane Ray out of Missouri in the first round. Ray is another pass rusher that'll give defensive coordinator Wade Phillips a ton of options in certain situations. Keep an eye on Shaquille Barrett. I think given the opportunity, he could really shine in this defense. Now on the inside, there are 2 really good starters in Brandon Marshall and Danny Trevathan. Both are coming off injury, so if healthy, they'll be just fine. Otherwise, the depth behind them outside of Todd Davis, in my opinion, is questionable at best. In my opinion, this is the best unit on this defense, both depth and talent-wise. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, and Bradley Roby gives the Broncos a strong starting group of corners. The depth here with Kayvon Webster and Tony Carter are also impressive. Both guys provide good special teams help as well. And I'm a big fan of rookie 5th-round pick Lorenzo Doss out of Tulane. The Broncos got a steal there as Doss has game that's similar to Roby but has much better ball skills. Solid play last season from both the safeties TJ Ward and Darian Stewart. Ward should blossom under Wade Phillips. Omar Bolden is a good, versatile depth guy who's able to play both corner and safety, and David Bruton is another valuable asset here on special teams. The coverage units here have to improve this season for Denver, and the hope is that with guys at the 2nd and 3rd level defensively getting healthy and the new additions to the roster, that they'll be okay. Punter Britton Colquitt had a solid season last year, and the squad has a bevy of options at returner. The kicking game is a question mark because the club has to decide on whether or not Connor Barth or Brandon McManus is their guy or if they plan to keep both. I have the Broncos finishing 2nd in the AFC West. This is still a dangerous and talented ball club, and I do think they'll get to the playoffs. Now, you look at the 2 questions I have, offensive line and defensive line. If they can get those 2 things solved, they can find themselves playing in Super Bowl 50. I also want to give a huge shout out to Bronco fan forums for always showing football game plan support.